So the cast come together through us meeting them on our smaller projects, on our smaller forum theatre projects, which we carry out 8 a year. We've got a couple of people who've come from a project that we did for people who were sort of long-term unemployed or underemployed at the Hive Arts Centre in Shipley. Another group come from the regular Wednesday night sessions that I run in the central location in town. Some of those constitute the younger members of our cast, and they come to us through something called the foyer, which is like a sort of halfway point for younger people between the ages of 18 and 25 who are leaving the care system and going on to independent living. And some of our cast come from Keighley, and they came through us through a project we did at an arts centre called Small World that engages isolated and deprived individuals in visual art and to a lesser extent in music. And working with those young people who are kind of at a very early level of engaging with community theatre and stuff, we just kind of sat together in a room and we said, look, what were you doing at the exact time when Bradford City got promoted this year?
Come all the way through. Hanson's waiting for the pullback, and Hanson comes up with the opening goal for Bradford. But Doyle returns it back in, and it's a second goal. Rory McArdle. Another header towards goal, and there's a third goal. And it's Naki Wells. Bradford City have been such an effective unit today, and it's their day. A marathon season has a glorious conclusion for Bradford City.
A lot of what people bring to sessions ends up in some way in our productions at the end. Like my sort of journey through it and stuff is about, first of all, engaging groups and working with them to be able to give them like the skills and the vocabulary to be able to take part in a creative conversation about the issues that the project raises, and the idea of people kind of being able to talk about something in such a way that they're both putting it in context and think of it as part of a bigger picture and thinking of it as kind of active citizens and active kind of members of a community with the power to ultimately be able to change that.
I mean, at last my plans are coming to fruition! Ha ha ha!
And so we start off by doing work, giving those people those skills, whether it's about theatre exercises and theatre games that give people a way to kind of relate stories that usually would be too emotionally intense or whatever for them to be able to relate in public.
No sour or spicy food, no cigarettes, no alcohol, no leather, no fun, I know.
So I had to have a bit of think about how that can be made to cohere and how we can make that all hang together as a play. A sort of outline of what the play will work like, and then I'll take that back to the individual groups and set games and exercises that are about them devising performances around those areas that we've discovered together. And in the end we end up with a piece of work that was very much devised, and the original creative seed comes from the participants themselves, but is kind of shaped as a text and as a performance by me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, modern citizens of indiscriminate and playful gender, my name is Sadiqo the Magnificent, and I welcome you to this historical circus, this honest story of time, my hyper-historical hall of mirrors. 120 years ago, a very special circus came to Valley Parade. It was a great colonial fair, and it exhibited wondrous mysteries from the depths of England's latest conquest. My manager had booked myself and Marionetti to compare the show. I was reluctant at first, but it was the only work around, and Marionetti and I were hungry. In those days, we used to compare fairs and circuses that would show our audiences all the marvels of the world. But you won't come out for that anymore, will you?
I won't come out!
Shut up, Marionetti! I have not called you out yet. Google images, YouTube videos and gap year travel blogs have brought that chapter of the circus to a close. But Marionetti and I are hungry again. We need a new circus. So we bring you history. We bring your history in the Hall of Mirrors. Tonight, each of our exhibits will show you a different side of yourselves. But beware, like a real Hall of Mirrors, they will show you a side that you don't usually see. Each of our mirrors has a different story to show you about this city and its football club. Of Valley Parade, Manningham, welcome to the Hall of Mirrors.
I hate the Hall of Mirrors!
Excuse me. How many times have I told you never interrupt me?
But sir, I'm scared of the Hall of Mirrors!
There is no Hall of Mirrors. It's a metaphor.
I don't know what that is, sir!
Do you remember that time when I said if you behaved yourself you would get sweets?
I didn't get any sweets!
But you didn't get beaten either.
Oh.
Sweets were a metaphor for not being beaten.
I don't know what that is, sir! Sorry, sir! Sorry, sir!
Now get ready, you're on in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Without further ado, I would like to introduce my associate in anarchy, my partner in performance, my number two in both senses, the world famous Marionetti.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Please, bear with me. What are you doing? Get back out there. These people are paid to see us present stories about their city and their football team. Stop whinging!
Don't make me go! Don't make me go out again, sir. I don't like it.
Do you remember that Zulu from South Africa?
Yeah.
All of his curses and threats will be nothing compared to 5 seconds with me on this win!
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Now, come on back out!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'd like to present to you this circus of historical horrors.
Horace.
This chasm of human shame.
Sir.
The history of Bradford and its football club.
Sir. Sir. I never get a poem.
Your poems are awful! They make birthday card messages seem like the Song of Solomon.
Sorry, sir. Sorry,
These
sir.
people don't want poems. They are the same idiots that couldn't wet themselves when we show them
Yes, sir.
Zulus and lions.
Sorry, sir.
They are the same selfish wretches that we, be with you in a minute, that we entertained 120 years ago.
Please, sir.
Now shut up! I will not let you spoil another one of my shows.
Poem, sir. Poem.
After that short and planned intermission, myself and Marionetti have democratically decided that we will present to you some stories and mirrors. No poems!
Sorry, sir. Sorry. No poems.
When you look in the Hall of Mirrors, you want pain, you want blood.
Blood. Blood.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the circus!
didn't have Heineken, so I got us ginger beer. It's healthier, isn't it? So. So, I'm sat on this coach, and to one side of me, this guy has come all the way from America. And on the other side, this guy, well, he now lives in Halifax. You see, when I was at university, I used to say to people that I'm from a suburb of Leeds or a little place just outside of Leeds. Now, I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but that day we were all proudly from Bradford. We were going to be watched all over the world. Thing is, I got my ticket last minute. Yeah. So I asked one of my mates and he says he'll give me a lift down. In fact, he promised me he'll give me a lift down. But then he says he's counted it all wrong. So I'm like, okay. So I ring round and round. No one seems to have a space either. Sorry, I thought, I'll get the coach down. It'll be more of a laugh anyway. Anyway, so I start riding around from estate to estate. It's cause I heard different pubs are putting on coaches. And I tell you, every pub I go to, some old guys propping up the bar. And I ask, hey, do you have any spaces on your coaches? Or even coach, whatever. And some old guy would say, sorry, love. One guy even said to me, he had the cheek to say to me, why don't you cycle down? I'm flipping it, calm down. So, I'm like, right then. Okay, it's nearly 4:30, and at this rate, I ain't getting down at all. That might even have to be an option. So, last minute, I had a brainwave. So, I get back on my bike, and I cycle as fast as I can down to the interchange, and I squeeze through that door. Right? And then she just shuts the door behind her, go up to the counter, and grasp me for it, and I ask the lady, and she says, there's just one more ticket left. Do you believe it? And I just grab it from my hand. I need to sit down. Right. Now, I'm sat on this coach. To one side of me, there's this guy who's come all the way from America. And on the other side, this guy has come all the way from Halifax. We get chatting, as you do, right? And we talk about the chances. What are the chances that Hanson will score again? Him from America, he says, check this out, he says that Hanson costs less to buy than Aston Villa spent on special little flags for the semi-final. He used to work in the co-op, used to work in the co-op. That's what I love about this city. I'm getting too old for this. Him from Halifax, yeah? He says that if we win, he'll get the drinks in. He says he put 50 quid on Arsenal, well, on us winning the whole thing after we beat Arsenal. He'd have been up thousands. Thousands. He says he wants to be proud of this city again. And that our city centre doesn't look good as Halifax anymore. But I tell you, the lads out there, they don't let him forget it. Halifax, for fuck's sake. You're just a small town in Bradford. Small town in Bradford. You're just a small town in Bradford. Sorry, love. I'll calm down. You need to calm down as well. Okay. I'm like, and you sort of, yeah, We should be singing that at Leeds, never mind fucking Halifax. Him from America, right? Him from America, he says that he wants to see us in the Premiership again, and he'll give up anything for that. It's only the cup, who gives a fuck? I still wear Super City and we're going up! I'm sorry, I will not do that again.
Oh, please do.
Sorry about that. So, yeah, he says that, he watched most of the games with his half-American son, and he's never even heard of Bradford or Bradford, as he calls it. Flipping heck. And he wants people to have heard of this great city, like his work colleagues and his friends. But I tell you, they have now. Me, I just want the city to have something to be proud of, something to celebrate. And do you know when something just strikes you? Yeah, okay, this might sound a bit weird. Okay, we're sat on this coach together, right? We're travelling down together, we're singing, we're laughing, we're crying together. But it's different things that brings us down to a Valley Parade every single week, or sends us flying down the M1 to Wembley. When we win, we celebrate for a million different reasons. If we lose, it means a million different things. That's the thing about football. It brings us together, but sort of keeps us apart. Mrs. Webster's son's routine.
Done really well in a way. I guess it's one of those stereotype stories, One generation grows up, get a decent job, and you move away. And that's when you start to become ashamed of where you're from. Bit by bit, my brother and my sister, none of them one left in Bradford. I know what you're thinking. She's probably got some extended family somewhere, even if her kids have flown the nest. But let me tell you now, she hasn't. She barely sees anyone anymore. And I told them she was struggling. When we were little, there were 5 of us in the house, getting our greasy paw prints all over Mum's clean walls. The house is empty now, though. Anyway, I'm glad you could come over. There was something I wanted to ask. Mum was brought up Catholic, wasn't she? And because of what happened, the church wouldn't even give her a proper burial. Disgusting. I went round to see the priest in the week, and he said it was something he could do on the quiet like. But not now. Not now my mum's been in all the papers. That's not like my mother slipping away into the quiet. I'd go around every Thursday, and my wife would sometimes come, but the kids were dead scared of the house because it was so dark. The TV was turned off, and it was mid-April last year, and I was, slightly worried because she liked to keep the TV on. Anyway, so I tried to turn the lights on, and it wouldn't work. So, why aren't the lights working, Mum? I asked. And believe me, I got a serious earful. Should put your own problems first. Wife doesn't listen to you no more. You can't cook properly. Kids have got no self-respect. Stupid, arrogant old woman, I thought to myself. I said I'd pay the bill on the way home. Nothing. I heard about the bedroom tax in the news, and apparently 2/3 of the great British public are supporting cuts to benefits, but they obviously have no idea what that means. So let me tell you, so you can tell them. It means that my mum, in a rickety old 3-bedroomed house, having to find £30 a week to still have the privileges of living in this house, which she's brought 4 kids up in and worked in for 40 years. My mum, in this house in Manningham. George Osborne looked as smug as ever on that news report, talking about all the cuts it had saved to their benefits. So I rang my brother and sister that night, and I told them that we need to help her, but like Chloe said, she's not talking to mum anymore, and Callum said we should just manage her finances for her. Says she spent waste all the money, sat in his £2.5 million house in bloody Shadwell, talking about a terrace in Manningham in the shadow of Valley Parade. Like he would dare say that to her. So I went round in the week, to read the letter to my mum. She just sat there and nothing. I said I would give her the money. She just goes on about not being a burden and lays into my life again. I mean, she means well. Apparently she's going to take up sewing again, so she can still work. But yet when I go around to her house to give her a cup of tea, I have to put it into her hand. She can barely see what's right in front of her face. Oh, and the electric's gone again. Tried to call her all that week. She didn't even pick up the phone. So in the end, I just went round. And I was banging on the door. There was nothing. I just kicked the door through. She was just there, slumped in front of the silent TV. And that's when I found the empty bottle of paracetamol on the side of the armchair. I called for the ambulance. And they told me to lay her on her side, to move her around. I mean, I was watching myself do this to her. I could barely see her. And when the ambulance men came, there was nothing left for me to do. The note said, "Don't blame yourself. The only people to blame are the government. I can't afford to live anymore. I won't beg."
Cousin, a little routine. There weren't a lot of brown faces around the ground here. A few. All that stuff in Leeds didn't even get properly going until later on. Give me St. George in my heart, keep me English, and all that. But it was going to be a top day though. A top day. And he used to take me. The lads would make fun of his name. I mean, you have to. Asian or white, he's called Anil, innit? But they looked up to him. 5'4", but he was like a giant to me. There'd be all this banter about how he can drink more than lads twice his size. Not a drop that day. Auntie knew he'd be going drinking before the match, but he wasn't allowed to if he was taking me. He used to take me up to the top of Block G. There'd be the most singing up there, really loud chanting. I'd stand there, sometimes down by his knees and sometimes up on his shoulders. But today the stadium was full and I'd come back from Temple late, so although the lads had gone in, we get to the stadium and he pulls out his wallet and it's covered in all these badges, loads of different ones. He's gone to watch stadium playing. And when I was young, he used to teach me to count them up. He'd get them on holiday as well. We go to Spain and he disappears for 2 days, comes back with a Barca badge on his wallet. Even when we go back home, he disappears and comes back with a bloody FC Jalandhar badge on his wallet. I've never seen any Indians play, but Auntie wouldn't even dream of letting me go. So I waited for him. I waited to see if we were any good. He comes back. How was it? I ask. Are we any good? We're not Barca, little man, he says. Anyway, we get to the stadium and everyone was singing. We were going up. All the players came on the pitch carrying these signs, thanking us for our sport. That's the thing about City. Greatest supporters in the world we had. Still do. Look at the Swansea match, 5-0 down, and we were louder than the whole of bloody Wales. Anil tells me that this is the first bit of silverware in 56 years. First time we played second division football since 1937. He even showed me the special article in the TNA, Spit and Polish for the New Parade Ground, he called it. He talked about the new stadium we were going to build. £400,000 they were going to spend. They were going to get rid of the roof and replace the frames, and also get rid of the woods and the tarpaulin. He was beaming with pride telling me all this. I felt like my chest was going to explode. Standing there next to him, 5'4" of hard drinking, sharp dressing, broad swaggering cousin Anil. And then the sun cuts through the crowds and I could feel his shadow following me. But just before half-time, we saw smoke. Nothing. Smoke was rising and we saw police running about. Something. The smoke was getting thicker and blacker, and people around us were trying to get on the pitch, trying to get away from the smoke, and the police telling us to get to the back of the stand. Now panic was setting in, and I grab onto Anil with both hands, and we run up the stairs, get to the top, get to the doors, and they bolted shut. And Anil drags me along, my feet are slow, and his grip is fast, and we're crumpled by all the people trying to get away from the smoke. People just lying there. We get to the kiosk, and an arm is sticking out, coughing through the smoke. I see the pitch for the first time. Then the arm disappears and smashes back through the kiosk. And Annie lifts me up, dangles me down. The arm lifts me up. I'm on my own again. And then Anil shouting, "Run! Run!" So I do, running over flip-top seats. I get onto the pitch, red ski jacket over my hands to stop them hurting, drops of tarpaulin burning my hand. I'm one of the last to get on the pitch, and the stand collapses. A white bloke runs over to me, rips off my jacket. I'm scared, but he shows me it was on fire. Around the stadium, all the families have opened up their houses for people to go in and call their families. Cups of tea and that. I just sit there, shaking, wanting Anil. Auntie came around to pick me up. They spoke to the family in Punjabi, so I didn't understand what they were saying. We drove around everywhere looking for Anil. Went to all the hospitals. PRI, nothing. LGI, nothing. Airedale, nothing. I was sent home and Auntie left crying in the car. We get word 2 days later. The police came around with his wallet. They found it where I left him, where he told me to run. On his wallet, 2 or 3 badges was all I could make out. Bradford, Barca, FC Jalandhar. I couldn't go to the memorial. A lot of people couldn't go because they felt it was too soon. Or maybe because they just wanted to see football being played at the stadium again. But I was too young. And Anil used to take me. No Anil, no football. But in upper school I started going again with my classmates. Bit by bit we saw more brown faces there too. And a couple of years ago I remember when Zesh Rahman played for us. Anil would have loved to have seen that. I mean, Zesh was Pakistani and Anil did always want to see an Indian play at the cup.
Rukaya's husband's routine!
Salman Rushdie's Bradford Army, he writes a book and the package went balmy. That's what they used to chant at the football ground and out of pubs. Do you remember the Salman Rushdie demonstrations? It's where I first met Hamza. I just remember him. He was stood there trying to calm the crowd. He was so tall and muscular. He spoke so passionately, but he was always in control. There's nothing more passionate than seeing that in a man. Oh. He had this ripple of strength and anger behind his eyes. He spoke. He had a really nice suit on and he really, really filled it out. We talked afterwards and I was so proud of him, even though he wasn't mine yet. Do you know, when you can look back and you remember the memory but you don't quite connect with it. It's a weird feeling, but I enjoy the memory anyway. He turns my stomach now. I mean, when he touches me. It's worse in front of the kids. I feel sick, literally.
From the late 90s, the sex workers who formerly worked in the Lum Lane area were moved slowly but surely into the more disused, dark and more dangerous streets around the Thornton Road area.
The fan club, they were starting to get to me just after the act. No, they were winding me up well before that. I mean, before he did what he did. I mean, before I saw him at it anyway. I can't even say it. Do you know when an image just tortures you inside? You feel like saying it'll make it more real, but sometimes you do and it just dissolves.
Our foolish laws mean that while prostitution is not in itself illegal, working in a brothel is, says Max McLean, who has served in the West Yorkshire CID for 3 decades before retiring as Detective Chief Superintendent. This sends a clear message to those who work on prostitution. You're on the streets and out on your own.
I called them our friends. That's what they were like. The fan club. They're hanging off Hamza's every word. Even their husbands loved him. But they didn't know him. They weren't real fans. They were all in the mid-20s, just like us. hanging off Hamza's every word. In Islam. I mean, in Islam, you're not even supposed to do that. It's wrong. The stereotype is, when I told my mum and aunties that I wanted to get married, well, they were right behind me. But the rest of my family, well, they were more into education and careers, really. But the fan club, well, it was more like happiness and jealousy and a bit of, I don't know, disbelief really. Disbelief because he ended up with me. Jealousy because they wanted him. And happiness, well, because it's easier for a married religious woman to fantasise about a married man than it is a single one, isn't it? I guess in this case, you'd think they wouldn't betray their wives.
This message had reached over ears. It called the South-style crossbow cannibal to this area of Bradford. For a decade, he had run the area, befriending its sex workers, even moving into a top-floor converted Victorian textiles factory in Thornton Road. Noticing how poorly monitored the area was, and witnessing the increasing disconnection and dislocation of the women working there, he began to plot his crimes.
That night I saw Hamza, it was a week before all those kids came out again. We'd been married nearly 10 years. Uthman, he'd just turned 9 in that January. So we were 5.5 months away from our 10-year wedding anniversary. I went to pick Uthman up from his cello lesson. He'd just passed his introductory grade. I was so proud of him. So we went to Oasis and I got him a chicken burger. No. And then we drove home. Through Manningham. Straight up Lum Lane.
Between June 2009 and May 2010, Stephen Griffiths had murdered 3 sex workers in the Lum Lane Thornton Road area.
I saw Hamza under the flickering lamppost. I had to tell my neck to move and look in the rearview mirror again. It was him. He was getting into the back of his car with this painful, skinny wretch. Uthman was gibbering on like he always did, and I just felt like the car was about to close into me. Anything I said at this point would be an open acknowledgement of what I'd seen. Of this man, Uthman's dad, getting into a car with a prostitute.
He gave his name as the Crossbow Cannibal. The police and prosecution had described this as a further cry of attention from a callous, cold, and manipulative individual.
Some women, I'm sure they'd find it easier if they caught their husbands cheating with prostitutes rather than having affairs. And I'm sure they wouldn't fall in love. But he didn't just betray me. He completely broke my understanding of who he was. When I saw him there, with her. Sorry.
2 bodies were found in the River Aire.
I went out driving. I was absolutely determined I was gonna find her. I just wanted to hurt her. I was raging, anger and shame. I didn't know what the hell I was gonna say to her when I found her. I saw all those lads again. All those lads. Like those ones that came out all them years ago for that bloody Rushdie thing. They were crowding around all the women on Lum Lane. They were waiting for the men to come up and pick up one of the girls in the cars. They looked like they were trying to talk themselves into chasing them all away. At first, I was scared for all those women. But then I thought, hang on, I wanted them to find her. I wanted them to find that woman I saw my husband with. I just wanted to hurt her. I just knew it'd feel like picking a scab or squashing a bug or something. Satisfying, guilty, and a little bit painful.
He claims not to know where he buried the first.
So I went home. He was rushing out. He said he couldn't let those boys get into trouble again. Or he couldn't let them hurt those women, those poor women. That's what he used to call them. Sickening as shit. Shit, sorry. You want to hear what happened? Well, for weeks it went on. You see, these lads, they'd taken it upon themselves to protect our community. Protect our community from all those punters and the prostitutes that walked up Lum Lane. Up and down they walked. Even outside that pub with 6 stripes on the side of it. Right down to the field. Where they'd start crowding around the women, standing by the women. And one or two of the braver boys, well, they'd tell the men to leave. My husband though, Hamza, well, he decided this wasn't anymore. This is Zulm. Oh, that's what he used to say. These women, these poor women, they need our help, they need our support. That's all he used to say. The brothers, well, they were sent to show the youth some real Islamic leadership. And us sisters, well, we were supposed to volunteer with all the charities that helps these women, these poor women.
He liked to pretend that he was emotionless. He liked to play robot. A putter where a machine would put her, where a rational, emotionless aberration would put her.
Well, the fan club, they were besides themselves. They didn't know him. They just saw that big, passionate dentist that I'd fallen for. They didn't feel that emptiness when he touches them. He used to give this speech about respecting women in the Islamic tradition. And the fan club, well, they just swooned around his words. Sometimes I think about those lads and I think, good for them. He says it's not right Islamically. Well, what does Islam say about going prostitutes behind your family's back? Why is it always on our streets? Why are the drugs and prostitutes always on our streets? Why should our kids have to grow up in all of that filth?
30 years ago, the Yorkshire Ripper had said this about his crimes. I was just cleaning up the streets. Just cleaning up the streets.
Cup of routine.
Now, there are ladies present, so I don't know how I should describe the room he took me into for our little meeting. Let's say it was a sort of cabinet particulier, the sort of thing usually hidden away at the back of a small hotel or restaurant, with a hidden sofa or bed. hourly rates sort of thing. You may be wondering what I was doing with him in that hidden little room most befitting a bordello. Me, Tony Fattorini, heir to the Fattorini family, 4th generation Italian silversmith, man who smelted the FA Cup and Manningham Rugby League Club and Bradford City's greatest benefactor, in a room with Harry Briggs, director of Rolls-Royce and Manningham Rugby League Club, in a horrible little room above a horrible little Bradford pub. Let me start at the beginning. My family have been in Bradford since the Napoleonic War. Italy in those days was many things. A place of revolution and bloodshed. A land of music and painting. But what it absolutely was not was a place to make money. So the old great-grandfather decided to sell up and come over to Blighty. Damn good job too. We ended up here just as things got swinging with the Industrial Revolution, and we haven't looked back since. Nowadays, only money matters. Quite right. Il denaro apre tutte le porte, as Grandpa likes to say. There was that nasty during the 90s, but things was bad for everyone then. Cunliffe Lister was cutting wages. There was a recession and everybody was suffering, particularly the poorest. The workers went completely off their onions. There was rioting, blood running in the streets. We, by which I mean a certain class of people, managed to regain control, but only with the kind of brutality that I have heard about from Grandpa back in Italy. We ran tanks and artillery up Lom Lane and smashed the workers back to work. Briggs came to me just after the FA Cup dinner. My God, you should have been there. What a night. We drank and ate and drank and ate. Terribly rum in the morning, but you have to keep your head up. An awful lot of champagne. The mayor's speech was royally funny. You have to meet him. He's a German Jew by the name of Jacob Moser. By this point, he can barely stand up straight. He raises his glass and solemnly toasts the British fair play, English honour, and Yorkshire grit that brought the FA Cup home. This from a German Jew to a team made up in the main of Irishmen, men from Nottinghamshire, and at best a couple of Yorkshiremen. We fell around the floor laughing. From the drink as much as his joke, mind. Bradford, my love, you welcome us all. You temple of capital, you stone cathedral of progress and industry. We made you. We Jewish businessmen. We Italian silversmiths. We German industrialists. I was staggering through the door when Briggs approached me. What do you want? I slapped. When will your shamble of amateurs win something like this? Sober up, said Briggs. Then come see me in the morning. We need to talk. So that is how I end up here in this let's be frank, Cabernet Particular, waiting for what if I was a more dramatic man I'd call my arch enemy, Harry Briggs. In business, we are on opposing sides and we manage opposing football teams. Bradford City, Park Avenue. Briggs walked in 5 minutes after me. Looked around. I see he left a couple of big, angry-looking chaps by the door. He pours himself 2 whiskies and sits down. I'm glad you came, Fattorini, he says. I say nothing. You will be suffering from the same problems as us, I imagine. I feigned ignorance. This city's going to dogs again, Tony. Bloody independent labour lots and trade unions making trouble. We need to be on our guard. I don't like the man. I always find him inelegant and uncouth. But he knows how to find a common language when he needs to. Talking about money and challenges to our profits, and suddenly it doesn't matter who's a Park Avenue man and who's a city man. I am, as it were, all ears. In short term, he says, we can deal with these trouble causes. I have hired a few men who can break these trouble causes. I nod. Like those fellows outside, I ask. Yeah, like those fellows outside. But what about long-term interests? How do we really manage them? God bless Italy and Fattorini family, he replies. What I am saying is this. We need to look at history of our clubs and look at how football can work to our advantage. I fail to see how that can help. Football in this city is riven with the same passions that bring men and women to the street. That drives them into the hands of labourites, anarchists, and God knows what else. I tell myself the truth. My passion is football, but for some of our fans, this is nothing but class envy, he replies. Well then, let's use that to our advantage. You see, man is a religious animal. What we've got to do is take this hatred and anger and channel it into the ritual and magic of football. One day, Tony, can I call you Tony? I stay silent. I've talked to good men, pillars of the community like your good self, in Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, even London. And we were all working towards this together. One day we can look at this country and say we have done it. One day more men will watch football than go to church and council meetings and labour events combined. I raised my glass. One of your countrymen said it best, I think. Give them not just bread, but circuses too. I smiled. I might have chosen a less august, pardon the pun, sauce than Caesar. Yes? He asks. I shook his hand. Grandpa likes to say, a ruba poco si va in galera, a ruba tanto si fa carriera. He gave me a quizzical look. Don't cheat a little, cheat a lot. I
boys and girls, people of this fine city.
1 point, please.
Never!
Sir.
You have now experienced the Hall of Mirrors. There is no blindness in the Hall's mirrors, but it will be if it's caused by the dazzle on your eyes.
Dazzling blindness, sir.
Now prepare yourselves for our next act. They are about to get weirder. First of all, we have our world-famous stage hypnotist. And then we have...
Be careful of the eyes, sir.
Shut up! Come here! Marionetti! 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 Marionetti!
Heavy, sir. Heavy, sir. Sorry, sir. Heavy, sir. Heavy, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Ooh.
Why are you sharpening that stick?
Careful of the eyes, sir.
Not too near the face!
Dazzling blindness, sir. Mass miracles routine.
Sleep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great Mesmerico. I am a stage hypnotist, but I always wanted to be an evil hypnotist. They are so much more exciting than stage hypnotists. All we get to do is hypnotize people into being cows or sheep. But evil hypnotists get to hypnotize presidents and prime ministers. They get to hypnotize people into lying or thieving or murdering. No. I had an interview to be an evil hypnotist once, but the panel, they almost laughed me out of the room. They said, my mustache wasn't long enough. B, my mustache wasn't bushy enough. And C, my mustache obviously isn't real. Now that our circus is back at Valley Parade, I'll show them, I'll show you. I have scoured these streets looking for people for my experiment, and this is my experiment. At first, I thought I could get a family of people, and then I thought, why not just use people from Bradford and get them to remember where they were when their football team was promoted at Wembley this year. I mean, this is a small city. How much can really happen? First, I need to get them into a psychic state of somnambulant separation. And then they will be my murderous minions, my cabal of killers, it doesn't matter what I call them. The point is that I can get them to remember a moment in time and convince them that they gave me complete control of their bodies at that moment, and then they will be in my power! Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Okay, I am going to take you back to the moment in time when Bradford City won Northampton at Wembley, May 18th, 2013. 3, 2, 1!
So I was walking through a house with my youth worker, and I ended up saying I'm going to the library, if you guys know what I mean. So then it was a bit like, oh yeah, but then it turned, but then everybody then some guy shouted knife, and everybody started running away. For some random reason I ran towards them, and then I got stopped by these 3 guys. 2 massive guys you could ever meet. The third one, smallest. You got a guy about 6'7", 6'8", midget about 6'5". so he's like, so I was like, yeah, if these guys start. Then they're like, oh yeah, if you give me your phone, then, oh come on, give us your phone. I was like, oh yeah mate. I was like, I could take you, you could keep my head in. So you're like, oh, so like, take my phone, it's shit anyway. So he took my phone, it went off, sounded like a text of my mum, of course, saying how everything was going, like a novice. So it was a bit, oh yeah, how come you? So he checked it, Bradford won through, he was like, oh, Bradford have just won 3-0. I was like, and he was like, yeah, you spelled Bradford? Yeah. And I was like, who do you think I spot? Leeds. And I'm just like, and I just thought to myself, right, you could take that as a joke, or I'm gonna get my head kicked in. Luckily he took it as a joke, gave me my phone back. So it all sorted out, innit?
Okay, and sleep! That's it! My plan is working perfectly! 3, 2, 1!
I heard about these lads getting attacked because they were wearing Help for Heroes t-shirts, and I thought, that's bloody disgusting. I mean, it's wrong, isn't it? It's like when those Muslims showed up to like boo soldiers what had just come back from like Afghan and that. And like that other soldier what got stabbed in the middle of town. You know, that Rigby in Woolwich or what? I mean, I could talk about this stuff all day. It's ridiculous. You know, we went on a march for that because it's wrong. I mean, he was a soldier, wasn't he? And like, he was fighting for our country. And he got stabbed by people who are living in our country. Everyone said there was going to be a massive march about it. And we were going to show everyone that we weren't happy about these people attacking our soldiers and that. My mum goes, it's stupid. She goes, what's it got to do with you? Why are you bothered? You don't even know anybody who's like in the army. But she doesn't get it. That's not the point, I tell her. She just thinks I'm going to get myself into trouble. YOLO. It was near impossible to get anywhere close. Bradford City were playing that night, so town was ram-packed with people hanging out at pubs and that, cheering and chanting 3-0, 3-0 and everything. Police weren't letting anyone into the train station because they knew it was an anti-terrorist march then. Salman at school told me that shouldn't go either. He goes that they're anti-Muslim and like racist and all that, but that can't be right. I mean, I've seen them on the internet and like they've got Asians on their march and that. I get onto the train and headed up to Leeds. I was scared, but excited.
And sleep! Fantastico! 3, 2, 1!
I'm waiting for our mind to come back. It's been really hard since he left for Afghanistan, I mean. I've been waiting for a letter or anything from him, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any news, nothing, not a scrap. Somebody was supposed to call us to let us know if he's been alright, but I haven't heard anything. But now it's time for him to come back home. Mum's gone down to meet him at the airport. Dad's got the match on in the background. I didn't come home until 2 in the morning the night before. Mum went absolutely mental with me, saying I shouldn't be handing my Martin got back. But she don't get it. She thinks I didn't make it important enough. But it's not that. When I sit there waiting for him, I get these feelings of terror. I just sit there, not knowing what to do. Obsessing, and no one knows. I don't tell anyone. No one will even understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, Dad's chuffed. Usually we're going mental with City being up 3-0 and Martin about to walk through the door. But this time, it will be different. I'm so bored, I'm watching the football. In fact, that's not right. I'm not bored. I'm scared and angry. Scared of how angry I'll get, and scared that I might take it out on Martin. So instead, I'm watching the football. When Mum pushes Martin through the door, I'm sweating like mad. I don't know if I'll even be able to look at him properly. He's my big brother. Mum pushes Martin through the door. All of his mates crowd around him. And it's quite obvious, but I'll try not to mention the fact of him only having one leg, or the fact that he's in a wheelchair. The referee calls full time on the football, and then one of Martin's mates puts that stupid fucking annoying Gangnam Style song on that I fucking hate. I'm helping Mum with the washing up, whilst Martin and his mates round the back having a cig. Usually it pisses me off with the way that she lets the lads get away with having a cig, whilst I have to do all this washing up. But today, I'm just thankful not to have to look at Martin's mates or pretend they can't see his wheelchair. It makes me fume. I wish that I was allowed to be as angry as I feel. I wish I could say something, but I can't. And I wouldn't want to criticise Martin and make him feel like what he's done hasn't been important to us, because it has. And I wouldn't want him to feel like he went to Afghan for nothing.
Okay, and sleep. This is amazing. It's exactly how I wanted it to be. Maybe this one will have a shared memory. Okay. Okay.
I will throw them fucking chips in your fucking eye, and you have to take yourself to the BRI to get the hot beef dripping and hot chips taken out of your eye. You arrogant little twat. Trying to use that against me in court, saying it was premeditated or something, saying I threatened him with it before. I have. Still think he heard me. Anyway, I were at work, and I stopped him and he's there smiling at me, and I'm just like, I'm covered in fat, stink fish, stink chips, and he's there asking me to meet to go out on Saturday, so I did, and I got wankered. Honestly, I couldn't walk, and by the end of it, I was fucked. He had to take me to bed. And anyway, the next day, I was at work, I was pretending to work, he was pretending to watch the football, and some bloody kids was pretending to get some chips. And as I turned around to get their chips, they ran off. It's not like a knock a door run where you can actually see the faces of the people you pranked. And he's like, do you want me to go get them for you? I'm just like, trust me, it's fine. If you knew him, you know why it's a little bit amusing. Anyway, Tom and Reece come in, and they've been drinking because City have just won 3-0. Reece is alright, but when Tom's been drinking, he's a proper knobhead. And he starts trying to grab chips over camera, and I'm like, what the fuck are you playing at? I can lose my job, I can get sacked. And he's like, oh, shut up. Goes to Scott and he's like, did you stick it in her when she went to sleep? Did you get a good one? And I was like, wait, you're making jokes about rape, you arrogant little sick twat. And then he's like, oh, you should be privileged, you should be proud. And I'm just like, that's sick. And he's like, it's not the first time you've gone out with a load of lads drinking. I'm just like, so? And he's like, well, you know the saying, everybody wants a key that opens every hole, but no one wants a hole that opens to every key. And I'm just like, right, you're gonna get the fuck out of my shop in a minute if you're gonna carry on. So he carried on, called me a bitch, a slag, a whore, anything. And then he has the decency to go and try and grab my tit over the counter. So I had a hot scoop of chips out the fryer. They went over his head. The doctor said that not all of them will scar, but he's got some scars for the rest of his life.
Okay, and sleep. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to my amazing experiment. It's just a shame that nobody actually... at last, my plans are coming to fruition. Ha-ha! And 3, 2, 1.
Can stack routine.
Dad!
Shut up, Sophie.
Dad, I want to watch the match.
I'm watching my Lovejoy repeat.
I want to watch the match.
What match?
City are playing the back down in Wembley. They are bound.
Not this again, Sophie.
Please, Dad.
Now, Sophie, none of that voice. Your mother, Lord rest her soul, had her ways and she had her turns. She might not have been sure of a lot, especially near the end. But she always said, never ever to let you watch television.
If I am sick of it, I am a grown woman. I will watch it.
No, you will not. Don't get upset. I'll get the special letter out if you want.
Oh, special letter.
I can read you what your mother, Lord bless her eternal soul, wrote in her final letter.
I hate that letter!
And if that girl should ever want to do one of the forbidden things, she must first stack the tin cans.
Dad, Mum was insane!
Your mother? Lord have mercy on her eternal soul. Was a kind and compassionate woman. Despite anything she may have said or did.
She was cruel. It is impossible.
Sophie, she was sensitive. Look, just look at it this way. She never really forbade you anything, did she? She just said a series of impossible demands on the way to do that.
Oh, for goodness sake!
No, don't give in now.
Alright, I will go and try and sort out the key cards again.
Your mother. Lord keep her undying soul from all hellish sufferings. Stack these upside down.
I know.
She had her ways, did that woman. 9 other tins on one base tin.
I know!
Very first pyramid.
I know!
And until you can, you could do none of the forbidden things.
No sweet or sour or spicy food, no cigarettes, no alcohol, no leather, no fun.
Exactly. Now have a go.
I will never be able to do this.
She's whinging again.
Fairy godmother, you're here again!
Stop calling me that!
You are my fairy godmother.
Have you got any decent cheese?
You could help me. How can I put these right?
You try just pushing them again.
I'm trying that!
Yeah, lad, what else can I say to you?
Tell me how to do it?
It's impossible. Look, your mum was mad and your dad's a bloody idiot.
There must be a way!
What's all that now? Have you done it, sir?
No, not yet.
If I say try really hard and it'll all be okay, will you like that? Try really hard and it'll all be okay.
Oh, there must be a way.
Now, Sophie, You need to try and be a lot quieter. You know what your mother, Lord grant her unyielding soul remorseless pleasure, said about noise.
Sorry, Dad.
Good. Now try again.
He just looks straight through you. Well, he can't see me, can he?
And why?
You know why?
I want to hear you say it.
Because I'm your fairy godmother.
Yes, you are. You are. No, you're my fairy godmother. You can help me. How can I do this?
For goodness sake, just try. I don't know, just try.
Help me. And I could steal you some breed.
Look. Go on then. Go on.
Right, upside down pyramids. Here we go.
Yes, have you done it? Sophie, what is all this? This silliness. Your mother, Lord grant her soul the most munificent benefices feasible, was full of deafness and decorum. Not this daftness and disorder.
Dad, why can't we just watch the match? We're finishing soon.
We do not deviate from the rules your mother. May she unfailingly haunt my every waking moment. Left us.
If I could just go in the other room, turn the TV over, watch the match, couldn't I?
These are the rules.
But where did she get these rules from?
These are your mother's. May she lie forever in extended and contented serenity. Mother's rules.
I am sick of these stupid rules.
They are the rules of the other.
It's weird.
The other of the other.
It is not normal.
No, it's bloody weird.
Right, young lady. Kneel there. Look at that picture. Look at that picture of your mother. May the Lord bind her in cotton wool and feed her to the angels. Look at the mother and tell her what you just told me. Apologise.
Sorry, Dad.
Not to me.
Sorry, Mum.
Mother.
Mother!
May the Lord create some kind of heavenly talcum powder and pour over her astral body until the end of conceivable time. Now, young lady, get in there and sort those tins.
You don't have to put up with that, you know.
What do you mean? Fairy godmother.
Stop calling me that, and I might tell you.
Well, what do you want to be called?
You know what?
Okay, Professor Buddy Rudd.
Look, I've got a little plan. Call him over here, say your mother's name, and then hit him over the head with one of them tins. And then you can watch whatever you want.
Oh, I don't think I could do that.
Look, the match is nearly over. If you want to catch the penalty shootout, you've got to do it now.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, are you ever going to live your own life? Or are you going to be haunted for the rest of it? And are you ever going to leave me to eat me cheese in bloody peas?
You're right, this is ridiculous.
Just do it.
Well, Dad,
Yes, dear.
would you come in here, please?
All right, have you done it?
No, but I'd like you to tell me how Mum used to do it.
You really know what stories I love to tell, don't you? Well, your mother. May the Lord make us thankful for holding her in his abiding, ceaseless, perennial clasp of his generous God's claws, just like the great huge crow.
Yes! Now I can watch the match. Oh, it's finished!
What to do? What to do? No more, master. No more, Sadiko. What to do? What to do? I can do what I want. When you look at me, you see a stupid, stunted clown. Something to sneer at when you're sitting safe and sound. But when you stare, your eyeballs strain on their stalks to look around, which makes it easier for me to gouge. What to do? What to do? What to do? No more master. No more Sadiko. I know. I can read you a poem. Yes. Oh. Circus, an apology. Bradford City and the Valley Parade. The greatest circus in the world! Point. Some say circuses so super submissive types distracted from suffering by sparkly bunting, superfluous sonic and sights. It's hard not to see what they are saying. These cynics who sneer at my game, that I'm here to distract from life and the fact that you all got fatter and poorer today. No more master. Poem. Yes. Ooh, yes. Sometimes it's much worse. We are lumped in with religion. I'm the opium of the people, an obscurantist messianism, utterly, pointlessly arisen. No, not even pointlessly, but with actual evil intent. They say, circuses are just devices invented by the rich to keep the poor people content. No more master. Poem. Yes. I'm the tonic of excitement, that drug of the Saturday sun, that brain suppressive incitement to dampen your powder and guns. Poem. Yes. Where am I? I can do what I want. I can do what I want.
designed to dampen your mind, then you don't know its secret discipline that underpins all the things that you have seen. All of these routines. Okay. Circus. It's just entertainment. It's just a drug, really. Boing. Master, no more. Master, no more. Master. Yes. Let this drug perk you up when you're feeling unwell. Let it dull your pain. Let it help you feel better. Let it stand you back when you're going through pain. Let it support your system. It's a frame, not a fetter. Its pressure can lift you and alleviate you. Its grip can become a hug. Let it relax and help you concentrate. This super circus drug! That's it, really. What to do? No more master, no more Sadiko. Ooh. I suppose I'd better find a new master.